Our next session is COVID-19 response, leveraging the power of data science. Please welcome José A. Prieto, Principal Data Science Manager for Microsoft.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Anselmo Prieto Nieves. I'm Principal Data Analytics Manager here at Microsoft. And basically, what does that mean? I lead a team of data scientists, data analysts, software engineers, and program managers that their mission is to protect Microsoft from cyber attacks and crises. So that's a little bit about me. Before I even keep going, one logistic thing, if you have questions, please start posting on the chat, right? We will have time at the end to answer as much questions as possible. So please start posting it on the chat as soon as you have it. So don't wait until the end to ask me questions. With that, let's get started. So before I even talk to you about our COVID response, let me talk to you a bit about myself and who I am, right? Because you probably want to know who's this guy talking to me right now. So I am Jose Prieto, as you already know. I am originally from Puerto Rico, and I come specifically for a little town in the northwest of the island called Quebradillas. That is a very beautiful town. You can see it on the top right picture of my slide. Sorry about that. The view is amazing, and we are also known, obviously, from the beaches. But other than that, from our cows. I'm a dairy farmer, come from a dairy farm environment. Most of my life I've been spending in dealing with cows, right? And other than that, for our basketball team, maybe some of you are Puerto Ricans and know about the Pirates or Los Piratas, right? But I think it's the coolest team in basketball. And obviously, if you don't believe it, just take a look at The Last Dance. That cool Michael Jordan series, and you will understand what do I mean when they talk about Phil Jackson's story. With that, let me talk to you a little bit about myself in Microsoft. So I've been in Microsoft for about 14 and a half years, almost 15, and I have done many different roles, from finance to product engineering to operations, IT, and now in cybersecurity. And I have done many different roles here, from financial analyst to program manager, solution manager, data analyst, and data scientist. So that's a little bit about myself and a little bit about my team. So let's talk a little bit about COVID, right? And our COVID response work that we did back in March. So I will tell you, before even I start, I need to make you aware, Microsoft have a very, very strong and awesome crisis management team that was built even before COVID started. So one of the main reasons we were so successful on that effort was because we already have that established, right? Otherwise, we would have not been as successful as we were to keep our people protected and make sure that they were all, we respond the way that we respond. But with that, let me tell you my story, right? So it was March 8, March 9. I don't know if you remember, but when COVID started in the U.S., it came from Washington State, which is where we have our headquarters based. This is where I'm sitting right now in Washington State. So we were one of the first companies that reacted to COVID, right, and started sending people working from home. So back to my story. March 8th, we were sent home. Next morning, I wake up, go to my basement to start working with my team, and I get an email from the CISO of Microsoft telling me, Jose, we need your help. Can you be with me at 10 a.m. or so? And I'm like, cool, yeah, let's meet. We knew each other from the past, so for me, it wasn't a big issue seeing his email, right? But next thing I know, I'm sitting with him on a meeting with him and their leaders. He asked me, Jose, we need your help. We need you to help us build analytics. So how can we help our organization and Microsoft to make decisions in terms of when do we send people home? How do we react to COVID, right? So I was like, yeah, cool, super, super awesome. By when do you need this reporting? And he's like, hey, can you give it to me by tomorrow morning, at least the first version? And I'm like, okay, cool. I cannot do this by myself. So who do I have to work with? He's like, hey, we have picked this awesome thing so you to lead, but just pick whatever person that you want on the organization, and we could try to have him or her under you to work with. So you can see the picture on the slide right now. If you have the slide in front of you, that cool picture that you see on the top is my first, like, kind of the first crew that worked with me. We were having an all-liner that day, just to give you a story about the picture. And we decided to put cool hats, and obviously I picked the boring hat, but the rest of the crew had a very cool hat on it, so we can have a little bit of fun as we were working. But now back to the story, right? So next thing we do is, I'm meeting with them. They asked me to help in the COVID effort, right? They give me a team, or basically we created a small team. And next thing we do is we get together as a team and create our mission, right? Because I think having a mission is very, very important, so that you know where you're going, right? So first thing that we did is create a mission. What was our mission? It was basically to make sure that our employees were safe, protected, and productive, right? And with that, we say, okay, awesome. Now we have our mission. What do we need in order for us to accomplish our mission, right? What type of data sets do we need? And I will walk you a little bit through the data sets that we used and what we did with it, right? So first, we start with COVID cases, right? I don't know if you remember this, but back in March 2020, you could not go to any search engine as you do right now and search for COVID cases, right? That wasn't a thing. So we noticed that Job Hawkins was giving us very, very good data, right? So we started picking up data from Job Hawkins in order for us to understand COVID cases. Next thing you need is country population. We needed to understand how many people were in our country. And let me give you a little bit of context of Microsoft. We are about 250,000. Our workforce is about 250,000 people. We are located in more than 80 countries. So for us, it was super important to understand where our people were. In order for us to understand that, we picked the next data set, which was our workforce information. Where is our workforce? Where are they located? So 20% of our people used to be working remotely anyways before COVID started. Now we have about 97% of us working remotely, but at that point it was only 20%. So the other 80% we needed to understand where are they located, so that we could understood, are they safe or no? Are they working from home? Are they supposed to stay in the office? So that was our workforce. Then the next thing we needed, it was who's going to our buildings. We call it the badge swipes. So in order for you to get to Microsoft, or in order for you to get inside of any of our buildings, you need to swipe your lovely badge, right? That is the sweet data set that we could use to understand where our people were going, right? Are you working from home, that location? Are we seeing people swiping their badge? And we will talk a little bit about that at the end of my talk. So that will be the next data set. After that, we thought about, hey, what about people that needs to go to the office, right? Do you have people like security people that needs to be in the office, like the actual physical security people? You may have people working in research and development that they may not be able to do their work from home because of security reasons. So they may have to go to the office. So we want to make sure that we understood who they were, so that we did not overreact to them going to the office, right? So that's another one. And last but not least important is, what's the status of that location? We have, as I mentioned already, 250,000 workforce, more than 80 countries. Multiply that by maybe 2 or 3 in terms of location. You can imagine how many locations we have around the world. So we wanted to understand, what is the status of that location? Are they working from home? Are they open? So that then when we look at COVID cases, right, and correlate that with the country population and correlate that with how many people we have there, we could understood, hey, do we need to send you home? Should we recommend you to be at home or not? So that was kind of the data set. So I'm going to recap a little bit quickly. So we have COVID cases, country population, workforce information, badge swipes, or people going into the buildings, who were people that needed to be in the office, right? And last but not least important, the status of that location. Are you work from home? Are you open? Are you not? And what we did with all these data sets is we combined them all together and create what we call a single pane of glass. And you could see on the slide, right, on the left side, bottom side of the slide, you could see the country population, our workforce there, right? And then the batch swipes, how many COVID cases day over day, week over week. I want to remind us, this was completely new to all of us. We didn't know much about how to react to a pandemic. This was new to everyone in the world. This was new to us as well. I will tell you this, I only know one person that have been living through a pandemic. That is my wife's grandma. She's about 104 years old, and she was like 3 when this thing happened. So she could not be much of help for me as well. So we needed to invent, and that's how we created that. We created analytics on top of that so that we can understand what countries were getting more cases, and do we have workforce there? Do we should send them home or not? So that's what's our thing. And then we'll walk you through what was our day, right? So I already talked to you about the data sets, why we combined them together, what was our view that we created, the analytics. On a normal case, normal day to day for us, it was our COVID cases will update at 5 p.m. We will wait until midnight or so, and obviously we were not there. All of this is automated. We will wait until midnight for our entries of people in our location, so that we have one stop chalk, right? In order for us to get that data, and then we will wake up every day in the morning, because by 6 a.m. we wanted to understand what was happening the day before on COVID, so that we can make quick decisions and send people home, ensuring that our people were safe and productive. So that's a little bit of what we did. I will tell you a story about our team and why I think diversity was key on this effort. Um, as I mentioned, we built our team, and our team was super diverse. We have people from around the world, people with different styles, and people with different mentalities. And there was this time that we discovered one country that it was we discovered. We realized that one country the cases was going up, right? Day over day we see the cases were going up, so we recommend our leadership to this location should be working from home in that country. So they accept our recommendation and basically talk to the leadership on that part of the world, and send them home, or basically ask them to work from home. Next thing, we check the next day, because we always going to want to make sure that people are really doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they are safe and secure. So next day we check the data. We noticed that a lot of people were still going to the office, and we were like, "Whoa, wow, this is interesting. Why would they still be to the office? Did not get the message?" I know they get the message. They got the message because I was on that meeting when we delivered that to the leader. So it's like, okay, so that's not the case. What else do we have? One of my team members then raised the hand and said, "Jose, can you check the data and see if the leader of that organization is still going to the office?" And I'm like, check the data quickly and notice, yeah, he's swiping their badge in the morning, swiping the badge in the afternoon that day. And he's like, "Jose, I think I know what's going on there." That country specifically, if the leader goes to the office, most people will obviously go to the office because that's their culture. That's part of their culture. And I'm like, oh, okay. So why don't we just talk to our leaders so that they can talk to their leadership and ask the person to stay at home, right? Well, long and behold, they talk to each other. The person stopped going to the office. Next thing we see on the database on our information is that people stop going to the office. And I want to recap this. This is why it's so important having a diverse team. It would have taken me or take us, our entire team, easily a week or maybe a day or 2 days just to figure out what's going on. Why are people going back to the office? Why is people don't acting the way that we want them to act? But it took me 5 minutes. It took us as a team 5 minutes to realize that in a very quick manner. That's why I think diversity is so important in every team, in every part, in every project that you're working on. Just please embrace diversity. And with that, I'm going to pause right now. I'm going to allow for any questions that you may have for me. All right. You can ask any questions. You can talk about my background, my teacher. There are many things that you can ask questions for. And no need to be about COVID. Okay, biggest lesson learned during COVID. I want to say embrace diversity. That's one, but the other one is it's be empathic with everybody. We quickly noticed that people were draining themselves, and even though we wanted them to be productive, we also want to make sure that they are not burning themselves. And that was one thing that we wanted to make sure that people were very aware. I want to say that's probably one of my biggest lessons. The other biggest lesson is uh, uh, this was unprecedented. So we needed to react as quick as possible and work as hard as possible because we didn't have time to look back. So we did not just don't have time to step back and wait. Okay, next question. How do we start with risk management plan in a small business? I will, with that questions, just I will ask our team here to pick your name so that I can put you in contact with our amazing leader of crisis management, so that the person, our crisis management leader can then answer you that question, because I really not prepared for that answer. With the increase of cyber attacks and data regulation difference. Okay. I want to say, so there's a question about cyber attacks, right, and data regulations. I think big let me see how I can answer that question. I want to say that the biggest thing for us in the cyber security business is make sure that you are thinking about cyber attacks all the time. So you are always protected, always with your mindsets, always run your updates, always have your machine up to date, and have your code secure. Don't store secrets in your code. Run your SDL. That would be my input on that one. How do we ensure that our teams remain connected? There are many ways. Our team, specifically the team that I lead, we have daily stand-ups that most of us turn on their cameras and talk. Even I do my own update as well, so that way we all keep connected. We have a chat in our team that is a cool chat that I love. That is no talk chat. So we will talk about different things, whatever you did on the weekend, whatever you did at night, whatever you did in the day. And that keeps us all connected and talking to each other and connecting as people, right? Because I do believe that the human connection, even if it's remote, is as important. Yes, the question if did Microsoft share experiences learned with other companies? Yes. After we reacted, and then over time, when other companies realized what we have done, I met with many different companies and leaders from data science leaders or general managers that were responsible for crisis management to share with them what we have done. We even share code. We even share data sets that we were using, public data sets that we were using as well. So yeah, we did share a lot of what we did. And I think, if I'm not wrong, there's a big possibility that we will end up doing a paper out of that as well. Did we run a network analysis? Yeah, we were always looking at our VPN, because that was one of our biggest concern. As the same way that I was doing my analysis of COVID cases and penetration to the world, there was another team that was all about network and flooding and making sure that the network had enough capacity for us to be productive. So yes, that will be my answer to that question. Okay, do we start with, that's a great question. Did you start with descriptive analytics and move it to predictive analytics as the pandemic progressed? So we started with predictive, yes. We started with descriptive, yes, and then we moved a little bit to predictive, but we realized quickly that we didn't know what we had in hand. So it was kind of difficult for us to do predictions in terms of when we were going back to the office. Our LRI models were predicting that we will be back in a year or so, but we didn't have a lot of historical data to make that social predictions. At the end of the day, our model stopped because we didn't thought it was a little bit realistic. We needed a little bit more history on that. What technology I use for your analytics? In our case, the one that you saw on the slide, it's all Power BI, right? We did use other tools as well, but most of the visualization and the work on the modeling was mostly done in Microsoft product, which is called Power BI. Do you leverage machine learning tools? In that case, we did not leverage machine learning tool. We do machine learning for a lot of other things. My team, if you're around, you empathize with this, but not for this case. What support did employees needed? I want to say this is not new for any other company, but first of all, just make sure that they wanted to feel that they were cared for, right? So we wanted to make sure that we send them home whenever they needed to be sent home. We will take care of them. We give them the tools. Microsoft did some great things about enabling our employees to work from home by giving extra funding for that and allowing you to work from home to do all your work that you could do from your office in your house. Um, how has your diversity of positions empower you to face COVID challenges? Um, uh, hmm, I only have 20 seconds, but I will tell you this. Yes, we had many different things with many different styles. My personal story is also kind of always working on crises because of my farming background. So yeah, it did help me and help us to empower and do an awesome job. With that, I think I'm about time, so I don't want to take more of the time of others. I think you are going into a break right now, and hopefully you enjoy this talk. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ping me on LinkedIn or whatever other platform that you can find me.